on the agenda after this presentation is for members of parliament elect to rise to subscribe to the oath of allegiance and the oath of a member of parliament, and this is to be administered by the Right Honourable Speaker of Parliament.
In accordance with Order 14.1, I shall now proceed to administer the oath for members of Parliament elect, for which members may swear on the Bible, the crucifix, or the Quran. Alternatively, members may elect to make and subscribe to a solemn declaration. May I respectfully request members elect to rise in their seats. In the name of the Almighty God, swear that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Republic of Ghana as by law established, that I will uphold sovereignty and integrity of Ghana, and that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. So help me God. If you respectfully remain standing. The oath of a member of Parliament. I, having been elected a member of Parliament, do in the name of the Almighty God, swear that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Republic of Ghana as by law established, that I will uphold, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, and that I will faithfully and conscientiously discharge the duties of a member of Parliament. So help me God.
with this out of the way now, you can clearly see that we have honorable members of parliament constituting the 7th parliament of the Republic of Ghana. The next stage is for the nomination of the first deputy and the second deputy speakers of parliament. And Joe Osei, who's member of parliament for Bekwai, is the nominee from the majority NPP side. Honorable Alban Kingsford Babi, member of parliament for Nadoli Kallio, is a nominee for the NDC side. So the next stage will be for the exchanging pleasantries. If you are watching the Joy News channel, members of parliament after now being declared legal members of parliament for 7th parliament are now exchanging pleasantries. They are greeting each other, and this is going to be the parliament in session for the next 4 years. Their term will end in 2020. So this is the 7th Parliament of the Republic of Ghana, 275 members, 169 on the for the MPP majority, 106 for the NDC minority. The leadership again for the MPP side, we have Osei Chairman Sabonso, majority leader, Adwa Saf, member of parliament for Dom Kwabinya, as the deputy majority leader. The majority chief whip is a member of parliament for Sunyani East, Kwasi Amia Shebe, and then he will be assisted as deputy whips, Moses Anim, and then the member of parliament for Pandai, Matthew Nyindam. On the NDC side, Harun Idris, member of parliament for Tamale South, the minority leader. The deputy is James Klucha. He will be assisted as well by a whip, Mohammed Muntaka Mubarak, and then 2 people as well, Ahmed Ibrahim and Comfordoyo. So now that this is out of the way, we have a composition of the 7th Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. The only available vacancies is that of the first deputy speaker of parliament and the second deputy speaker. The speaker is going to call for nominations, and if there is no challenge, the person nominated will stand elected as the first deputy speaker of parliament. On the MPP, they already have a nominee, and he's a person of the member of parliament for Bekwai in the Ashanti region, Joe Osei Wusu, who until this new 7th parliament was a ranking member on the legal and constitutional committee. So we will now move to hear the nominees for the first deputy and the second deputy speaker's positions.
May I seize this opportunity to congratulate all members of parliament for their election to this honorable house. I have no doubt that every member will be worthy of his or her election and call. I will request honorable members to please sign, by all means, the 2 documents regarding oath of member of parliament and oath of allegiance whilst you are seated. Item 7 on the order paper. Elections. I will invite nominations for the election of the first deputy speaker. Yes, Honorable.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to propose Honorable Joseph Osei Owusu in accordance with the relevant provisions of our standing orders and the Constitution for election or to be elected as the first Deputy Speaker of the 7th Parliament of the 4th Republic. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Member was born on the 22nd of January 1962 in Bekwai, in the Ashanti region. Education at St. John's Carrick School, also in Bekwai in the Ashanti region. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Osei Owusu continued his education at Biabin Secondary School and Wenchi Secondary School, where he obtained ordinary and advanced levels certificates. He proceeded to the University of Ghana, Legon, where he obtained a combined degree in law and classics in 1987. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Osei Owusu continued at the Ghana School of Law, where after which he was called to the Ghana Bar in 1990. Since then, he has been a professional lawyer. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Osei Owusu started his legal practice with Yauberima and Co. in Koforidua for 4 years, after which he relocated to Kumasi and teamed up with Mr. George Sapon and Honorable Kwame Osei Prempeh to found Adom Chambers, from which firm he engaged in private legal practice for 9 years before he entered public service as the Chief Executive of the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, DVLA. Mr. Speaker, the achievements of Honorable Osei Owusu as the Chief Executive of DVLA are very monumental. Mr. Speaker, after a successful 6.5 years at the DVLA, Honorable Osei Owusu resigned and contested for the Bekwai seat and entered Parliament in January 2009.
As MP.
Mr. Speaker,
As MP.
Honorable Osei Owusu
As MP.
was re-elected to represent the people of Bekwai from January 2013 to yesterday. Mr. Speaker, the honorable member was again elected by the constituents of Bekwai to again represent them in this House in the parliamentary elections that were conducted on the 7th of December last year. Mr. Speaker, as a member of Parliament for the 5th and 6th Parliaments, the honorable member served on a number of committees. He served on the Appointments Committee, on the Roads and Transport Committee, and the Parliamentary Affairs Committee, of which he was the ranking member. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Osei Owusu is married with children. He's a family man. He loves sports, particularly soccer, athletics, and boxing. His interests again include reading and writing. Mr. Speaker, it is with much pleasure that I move that Honorable Joseph Osei Owusu, the current member of Parliament for Bekwai, do take the chair of this House as the first Deputy Speaker. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah.
Honorable Members, before the seconding, as I see the Honorable Member leader from the other side, I would want to ask your permission for her ladyship, the Chief Justice, to take leave and get ready for further duty tomorrow, as we all know. In the very day of the morning. So we thank her ladyship for her presence, and we give her the due permission to depart. Any seconder for a motion on hand?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in accordance with Standing Order 12.2 of the Standing Orders of the Parliament of Ghana, I beg to second the motion that Honorable Joseph Osei-Owusu be elected as the first Deputy Speaker of the 7th Parliament of the 4th Republic of Ghana. So, Speaker, Honorable Joseph Osei-Owusu has served in this Parliament for 2 terms and is beginning a 3rd term this morning. Honorable Osei-Owusu, for the past 2 terms that we have been in the House, has distinguished himself in the area of law and the procedure for conducting business of the House. I have no doubt that he taking the seat as the first Deputy Speaker, he will be able to assist your good self in steering the affairs of this House. Mr. Speaker, I therefore beg that this House approve Honorable Joseph Osei to take the seat as the first Deputy Speaker of the 7th Parliament of the 4th Republic of Ghana. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable members, any other nominations? Honorable members, there being no other, I hereby declare the Honorable Member for Bekwai duly elected as the first Deputy Speaker of this Honorable House. Honorable Member for Bekwai, I hereby congratulate you on your election. I trust that your rich experience will come to bear on the proceedings of this Honorable House. Congratulations. Honorable members, I hereby of the second Deputy Speaker. Nominations may be moved and seconded.
Right, Honorable Speaker. In accordance with Article 96 of the 1992 Constitution and Standing Order 12.2 of our Standing Orders, I respectfully beg to move that Honorable Albans Sumani Kingsford Bagbin be elected as the second Deputy Speaker of this August House. Mr. Speaker, ASK Bagbin is known to this House. Indeed, but for this to equal his record. He's the leader's leader, from minority leader to majority leader and to minority leader. He symbolizes the beauty of democracy and reflects how positions of the aisle can change. Born 24th September 1957, Sombo in the Upper West region, he holds an executive master's in governance and leadership from JIMPA, certificate in privatization and public utilities and infrastructure, Arusha, Tanzania, and is a respected and distinguished lawyer with several years standing at the bar. Alban Bagbin, Mr. Speaker, will certainly have ended up as a farmer if at the age of 6, he did not whine and wait to be enrolled at the Sombo Catholic Primary School. You need no diviner's eye to make out the budding politician among school children. You always identify them by their notoriety, by their outgoing, outspoken manner, and their vivacity, which usually leads to school prefecture. At the elementary school, Alban was a very opposite, quiet, unassuming, and extremely studious. Alban will have stridden through secondary school unrecognized, but for his academic exploits at one secondary school and to the Great Tamale Secondary School as an old boy. Mr. Speaker, Alban comes to the second deputy speaker position as a distinguished member of parliament, indeed holding the highest record of the longest serving member of parliament in the history of our country and in the history of the Fourth Republic. Mr. Speaker, Alban have served this august house in very distinguished and respected capacities. He has been the majority leader and leader of government business, member of the task force in charge of the President of Ghana's special priority projects. He's been Minister for Health, Minister for Water Resources, Works and Housing, minority leader of parliament, member of parliament for Natoli Kalio constituency. He served on the Mines and Energy Committee of this House, Works and Housing, and distinguished himself as chairman of the Committee on the Code of Conduct of this House, which will guide us on as we move forward. He has been the ranking member of the Appointments Committee, chairman of the Public Accounts Committee, member of the Committee on Subsidiary Legislation, chairman of the Committee on Subsidiary Legislation, chairman of the Committee on Constitutional Legal Affairs. He is a managing partner of Law Trust Company that in my very early beginning I trained under. He was an English tutor, Suk Juma Secondary School, so that they know in Tripoli, Libya, you went sojourning somewhere. Mr. Speaker, I could go on and on and on, but this is a familiar personality, a familiar member of parliament, very familiar with the procedures of this House. And Mr. Speaker, I can only say that he would make your work, supported by the First Deputy Speaker, easier in deepening good governance and ensuring that Parliament delivers its core object as you indicated. I therefore beg to move that ASK Bagbin do take the chair as second Deputy Speaker of the August House. Thank you.
Honorable members, any other nominations? Honorable Majority Leader, any secondment from your end?
The Speaker. The Speaker, pursuant to Article 96 of the Constitution and also of Order 12, 1, 2, and 3, I beg to second the motion for the election of the Honorable Kingsford Bagbin to the position of the second Deputy Speaker of the 7th Parliament of the 4th Republic. Speaker, it is worth noting that the Honourable Bagbin remains the only surviving member from the stock of the 1993 group. In other words, he's beginning his 7th term as a parliamentarian of the 4th Republic. The Speaker, the honourable member who has occupied several positions in this House needs no further introduction. He is a Methuselah, and he has proved veritably to be an old fox who is tsunami resistant. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, he would add value to the discourse in this House. Except to say, Mr. Speaker, I do not know whether the position he's about to ascend to is a vertical, horizontal, or lateral adjustment. Mr. Speaker, regardless, without any equivocation, I second the motion for his election to the position of the second Deputy Speaker of this House. The Speaker, I so affirm.
Honourable members, is there any other nomination? Honourable members, there being no other nomination for the election of the second Deputy Speaker, I hereby declare the Honourable Member for Nadoli Kaleo duly elected. Honourable Bagbin, may I congratulate you for your elevation to your very much deserved position in this capacity in this honourable House. Your record goes ahead of you, and we all respect your position. I formally recognize the presence in the House of the following: His Excellency, Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings, former President of the Republic of Ghana. Your Excellency, we very much regard your presence here on such occasions, which you have done as an unfailing duty. We appreciate it. We also recognize the former First Lady of the Republic, Her Excellency Nana Konadu Agyeman Rawlings. Order. Honorable members, order. We recognize former clerks of parliament who are here present, Ambassador Agri Ollins and Mr. Rex Owusu Ansah. We recognize former Speaker in this House, Right Honorable Sechi Hughes and his wife. We recognize former Ambassador of the Republic, Eunice Brookman Emisa. We recognize Honorable Samia Nkrumah, former leader of the CPP. Without that doubt, we want to recognize the presence of former Ambassador Agri Ollins and Mr. Rex Owusu Ansah for their services to this House. Honorable members, permit me also to recognize the presence in the House officials of the Parliament of Uganda who are here to witness this special sitting of the House. They are Mr. Paul Gamusi Wabwire, Deputy Clerk, Parliament of Uganda, and Ms. Marjorie Florence Nakito, Public Affairs Officer, Parliament of Uganda. On behalf of the Parliament of Ghana and on my own behalf, I wish you a pleasant stay in Ghana. Honorable members, may I have an indication from leadership at this time? The formal business or the order paper having been exhausted as to directions for further sitting.
Speaker, we have come to the end of the business for the segment of this sitting. The rest of the business shall have to be transacted at 10 o'clock in the forenoon today. In the circumstances, Speaker, we may have to suspend sitting until 10 o'clock in the forenoon to reconvene this sitting of this House at the Black Star Square Speaker, may I, in the event, move that we suspend sitting and reconvene at 10 o'clock in the forenoon at Blaster Square.
Mr. Speaker, I ideally and strictly speaking legally, as far as our democracy is evolving, it will be essential in future that this program is not necessarily suspended in order to create an interregnum and a legal vacuum in terms of who exercises the executive authority of this country as commander-in-chief. Ideally, the president-elect should have been here for us to continue the process. Between now and 10 a.m., should there be war, who would be the commander-in-chief of the republic? Mr. Speaker, we should not walk the path of democratic risk, and therefore I support the view that we suspend sitting and reconvene at the Independence Square for Parliament to continue its sitting for the President-elect and the Vice President-elect to be sworn in. Thank you.
Honorable Minority Leader, if there should be any emergency, they will be handled accordingly. And with the appropriate support of the able leadership of this Honorable House. I did in my speech, may I also say, acknowledge her presence in the House this evening. Members, I shall now suspend sitting of the House. Sitting of the House is accordingly suspended and shall reconvene at the Independence Square at 10 o'clock in the forenoon. And by way of announcement, members will assemble here for them to be duly transported to the square. Nine o'clock. I'm advised by the clerk 8 a.m. Honorable members, sitting is accordingly suspended as stated. Thank you.
affected in Parliament. We have a sitting Parliament, the 7th Parliament of the Fourth Republic of Ghana. And let me run by you the composition as we have it. The Right Honourable Speaker is Professor Aaron Michael Quay. The first Deputy Speaker is Joe Osei, who is a Member of Parliament for Bekwai in the Ashanti region. The second Deputy Speaker is Alban Kingsford Sumana Babin, the Member of Parliament for Nandoli Kalio. For the leadership, for the majorities that we have, Osei Mensah Bonsu, Sarah Yosaf, Member of Parliament for Don Kwabinyam, Akwasi Tremel is also the Member of Parliament for Sunyani East, and of course, Matthew Nimdan, the Member of Parliament for Panda in the Northern region. On the other side, as the minority side, Haruna Idris, the Member of Parliament for Tamale South, will lead the minority side in Parliament for this 7th Parliament. He will be assisted by James Kluche Abejib, as well as Ahmed Ibrahim, Muntaka Mubarak, and of course, Comfort Doyo Ganzab. Now, the House stands adjourned till 10 a.m. in the forenoon, and they will reconvene at the Independence Square. And that will start the second process of this parliamentary work. And that will be the investiture or the swearing in of President-elect Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo. So in some few hours from now, we're going to have a president to take over the reins of power for the next 4 years. So that is the composition from Parliament. And the next stage, the next time, we'll move to the Independence Square, where President-elect Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia will take the oath of allegiance and the oath of the presidency to start the next phase of the governance system as far as this country is concerned. So we are going to bring you reactions from now till we leave, and we'll be speaking to members of Parliament. Congratulations, Mr. Abujinapo, for this role. Your term in Parliament starting today.
Thank you.
How does it feel being in the August House?
Well, it's humbling. I knew that I was going to be sworn in, but it's humbling. Going through the experience, there's a lot of work ahead of us, especially from the minority side. And we are ready, we are prepared, we are well psyched. We are mentally, emotionally, psychologically, and physically fit for this job.
All right. So what kind of opposition should Ghanaians expect from the NDC minority, because your role really is to put the government in check?
I think you've put it right. Our duty is to put the government in check. Our duty, 1, is to serve the country, 2, is to serve the constituency in terms of my constituency, but also ensure that the right thing is done.
All right.
And so it's not just about having our say, it's also about insisting that the right thing is done. And so we can assure the people of Ghana that we will not fail them as a minority. We'll be responsible. We'll put especially the ministers on their toes right from vetting. When they come for vetting, we'll ensure that the best comes out of the vetting, because the president-elect, after being sworn in, will certainly elect his ministers. Our duty is to ensure that we vet them well, ensure that they are the right caliber of people that we expect to lead this country. And so we wouldn't shirk our responsibility. We'll give up our best, we'll live up to expectation, and when we ought to praise, let me be frank with you, we'll do that. But when we ought to criticize, we'll constructively criticize them and put them on their toes. And so we hope to see a very exciting, very vibrant Parliament, and we are confident that we'll give up our best.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Abujinapo. Congratulations once again. And we will pick more reactions as we wrap up here and then bring you live commentary from the Independence Square. Doctor, congratulations again for this second, for this 4-year term that you just started.
Thank you.
So what should we expect from you?
You know, it's past 2 a.m. I'm sure we are very tired. But at 8 o'clock, we'll convene here again and continue the program. I think it was a bit longer than some of us anticipated, but nevertheless, it's the first day, so we'll see what happens.
In sum, you ready for the task ahead?
Oh, definitely. As I told you earlier, I think you can see the members are all excited, so I expect a very active Parliament. Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Honorable Anthony Akoto is the Member of Parliament for Otafo in the Ashanti region. So I'm also joined here by the Member of Parliament for Tema East, Titus Glover. Also for Kwame Abuja, Member of Parliament for Adeklu in the Buffalo region. Let me start from you, Kwame. You are now on the other side, the left side of the Speaker of Parliament. Are you ready to give up your best to ensure that parliamentary democracy is entrenched in this 7th Parliament?
Surely. I think the people of Ghana have brought us to this house to work for Ghana. my view is that irrespective of which government is in power, Ghana must see progress. So we are ready to cooperate and work together with our colleagues in majority now to move this country for where it is now forward. We must see progress at every time that any government is in power. So we can commit, I can tell you, we are committed to working hand in hand with our colleagues from the NPP to make sure that the right things are done for the people of this country to benefit from our work.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kwame Abuja, Member of Parliament for Adeklu. In the booth, I'll pick just one word and then go to the former second Deputy Speaker of Parliament. Titus Glover, you heard your people, your party made promises. Now is the time for results. Are you ready for it?
Yes, indeed, we are ready. That is why Ghanaians voted us into power. And we respectfully believe that we are going to deliver. They need to be patient. We've not come up with our budget yet. So definitely everything that His Excellency the President Nadu have said, he will make sure it is captured in his budget. He's going to guide us because it is this same house that is going to bring his budget to enable us to approve. Then we'll continue to serve the good people of this country.
I wish I'll allow you to go and have some sleep because you are coming back again at 10 a.m.
I'm a young man, so definitely I just have an hour or two nap and come back and continue with the work ahead of us.
Congratulations once again.
Thank you so much.
Let me now turn to the former second Deputy Speaker of Ghana's Parliament, Honorable Joe Gatti. Honorable, you heard the Speaker, Professor Michael Quay, impressed by his delivery and what he intends to do for the next 4 years.
Yes, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Private members, everything he said was spot on.
Yes. In the sixth Parliament that just ended, there were certain things that you wanted to do, but it couldn't materialize. For example, the new standing orders. Are you confident that in this seventh Parliament we will see a more modified standing orders that reflects the Parliament as a whole?
I would say that in the sixth Parliament we did our best. We worked hard, we did our best. And I believe that the seventh Parliament will build on what we've done. I expect to see a new standing orders. I expect, like Professor Michael Quay said, to see some form of formalization of the rulings of speakers, etc. I expect also to see some approach at addressing the question of the private members' bill. So it's the exciting times ahead for Parliament. The agenda that has been proposed by the Speaker, and of course with support of leadership, because leadership that pushes the agenda. With support of leadership, I think that we are in for exciting times.
And in general terms, the MPP administration, you're confident that what you've told Ghanaians, you will deliver on them?
More than confident. Much more than confident. I'm excited. We are ready to roll.
All right. Thank you very much. And that's the former second Deputy Speaker of Ghana's Parliament, Joe Gatti. Let me go to Dr. Halu, the former Deputy Environment Science Minister, but now in Parliament for the seventh Parliament. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You heard the new Speaker talk about his vision, more if you like, for women.
Yes.
Impressed and satisfied, and you think you'll be able to deliver on them?
Yes, I was so happy that he was able to point out the importance of gender issues. During the sixth Parliament, we couldn't pass the intestate succession bill into act. You know, we've had a lot of amendments to it. We also have the spousal property bill pending. So I'm happy that he is very gender sensitive from what he said, and I hope that during this seventh session we'll be able to pass these bills into act.
So what kind of a ministry, Environment, Science and Technology, what kind of ministry have you left for the incoming administration?
I left the Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation. Now I'm full-time, and I'm also going to learn a lot and contribute even more effectively because I have a lot of time to do so.
Dr. Halu, once again, congratulations. I wish you well in the seventh Parliament. Let me move again and face very, very, very new to me, so maybe you have to introduce yourself to me.
My name is Daniel Ochema Buwaji, Bantima constituency.
Congratulations and welcome to Parliament. Are you ready for the task ahead?
Why not? Yes, we are. Obviously, we wanted to come and help change this country, as new MPs. So we have a lot of tasks ahead of us. From Bantima, there's a lot of things that I have to do. Represent the people, advocate, help make laws. But today the exercise was very interesting because it's the first time for a lot of us. And we're just observing proceedings and beginning to pick up a lot of things that we need to be able to learn from our seniors to be able to contribute contribute to the House. And that's what's actually happened today.
All right,
yes.
so you know that Parliament work is quite different. Are you ready to learn and contribute effectively on the floor?
Everything is learning. We have a professional experience to be able to contribute, but obviously you can't just come in the Parliament and just start contributing. You have to learn the procedures, the standing orders, and the Constitution to be able to make effective contribution, and we are ready for the action.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
And this man is able to deliver thousands of votes for the NDC. Now he's on the minority side, unfortunately. And I'm sure that we're going to witness the fire that you were noted for in the run up to the 2008 elections.
Yeah, good evening to all your very many viewers and listeners. And we were happy that the inauguration has been done. A very successful election of both the Speaker and the two Deputy Speakers. And we are prepared for the event later in the day. The coming in of the President-elect and the Vice, and ready to do the best we can for Ghana.
So what kind of equity should I expect going forward after today?
The same. Facts, figures, and fire.
All right. So we'll look forward to that.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Fifi.
Absolutely.
Congratulations once again.
Thank you very much.
And Dr. Kwabena Donkor is a member of Parliament for Pru East, a former power minister, and he's serving again in the 7th Parliament. Doctor, congratulations once again.
Thank you.
And for you, you've seen it all. Before even ascending to ministerial position, you served as chairman of the Mines and Energy Committee. Now you are back on the minority side. How ready are you to ensure that your oversight responsibility is adhered to the letter?
Well, we are very ready. We are going to be a loyal opposition, loyal to the state of Ghana, and therefore protecting the interests of the state with all our energy, with all our intellects. We will cooperate where the interests of government and the state aligns, but wherever there's a divergence between the interests of the Ghanaian state and the government, will stand on the side of the Ghanaian state.
106 members on your side, ready for the battle, because even without you, they have the numbers to execute government business on the floor.
Well, it's not always about numbers. It's also about moral authority. It's about winning the argument in the court of public opinion.
You have 3 speakers, confident that they will be impartial, neutral in exercising their role on the chair.
I'm very confident that they will play their role as speakers, and I'm very confident they will put the interests of the Ghanaian state above every other interest.
Thank you very much, Doctor. I'll allow you to have some sleep. We'll see you again at 10 a.m.
Thank you.
And Samuel Okudzeto-Ablako will be the last person I'll speak to, and then we'll wrap up and then come back again at 10 a.m. Sammy, the President had nice words for the education sector in his last State of the Nation address, where he said that we've done tremendously well in improving the standard at the basic and at the senior high school level. Now you find yourself on the other side, proud that you left a very good record.
Yes, as the President said during the State of the Nation address, our system of governance should be seen as a relay sport. The President used that analogy to say that administrations will come and perform their functions, and they will hand over to another group, another political party to continue. And that it is important that we see the governance process as a continuum, so that you ensure that you carry forward what you have inherited. And that is what we have sought to do under President Mahama's tenure. And we expect that under President Nana Akufo-Addo's tenure, all of the good interventions, the good projects, the programs and policies that are in the national interest will be continued. So we are quite confident that the new administration will see a lot of good works, because why change course when the investments we made, the interventions we made yielded so much results? If you consider the fact that teacher absenteeism dropped from 27% to 9%, you consider the fact that before we got to the ministry, the highest performance in the BEC was just 14 students getting above 500 marks. We have been able to raise that to 3,994. You look at the WASSCE performance for 4 consecutive years, Ghana has been adjudged the best nation in West Africa. So when our country is performing so well, and it's not only to the credit of staff at the Ministry of Education, the teachers, parents, the students themselves, all of us have contributed to ensure these successes. So it is important that what we did to chalk these successes, the new administration should continue, and they will also have new policies. They have a manifesto, and they are obliged to also keep the promises that they made to the people of this country. So we will be here in Parliament to ensure that the promises that they have made, the pledges that they made to the good people of this country, they keep to those pledges. That is why we were voted to come to Parliament to offer quality, credible opposition that will be in the national interest. And that is exactly what we will be doing in this House.
I mean, thank you very much. I'll see you again at 10 a.m. today.
Certainly, thank you.
And then finally, your expectation for the for this Parliament?
Well, I'm a first timer.
Yes.
My name is Dr. Maket Nawani of the Nabnam constituency. My expectations are very high. The incoming government has promised a lot, and we, as opposition, we are going to come up with constructive criticism. We are going to ensure that those promises are carried out. And of course, we expect that the new government should also carry out the work of the NDC government, or the outgoing NDC government. We started schools we've not completed, we've started hospitals we've not completed, and we expect that the new government should complete them.
All right, so we'll bring it to a close here, but we are not done with our coverage of the swearing in of the president, and of course, Parliament is done where we have a new 7th Parliament. Is fully functional now. Now, in the next few hours to come, exactly 10 a.m., Parliament will reconvene again at the Independence Square. It will be a parliamentary system where the President-elect Nana Addo Akufo-Addo and Vice President-elect Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia will take the oath on behalf of the people of Ghana, and then we'll hear more from that. But so from the Parliament House, my name is Elton Broby, and I do so on behalf of Aisha Ibrahim, Joseph Opoku Gapo, Favor Nuno, and all the technical crew who've done so well to bring us this live coverage of this swearing-in ceremony for the 7th Parliament. We'll see you again at 10 a.m. at the Independence Square.
And that is Elton Broby there, coming to us live from Parliament House. Kudos to Elton and the entire team. Aisha was there, Favor is there, Favor Nunu is there, Malika Basdabo is there. Of course, our technical guy is there, you know, burning the midnight candle to bring you that coverage right there. We can go to the Independence Square. Favor Nunu standing by with some interesting visuals there. Hello, Favor. Yes, tell us what's happening.
Good morning.
There at the moment. Good.
Well, I have to say there's a lot of activity happening here at the Independence Square in Accra. Well, we've been here for the past hour or so, and clearly, as you can tell from the background, you would see that that's the Independence, the Black Star Square behind there. And there are lots of people who have actually massed up here in their numbers. And I've been speaking to quite a number of them, and they've been expressing themselves that, well, they're coming from all over the country, some of them from the northern regions of Ghana, from the eastern region, from the Ashanti region, and they're just coming to witness the inauguration of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. And so, well, they are here now, and what they have to do is to just wait. And so you'd realize that on the pavement, some of them have actually, placed mattresses and then bed sheets and are trying to take a nap and all that. So if you look ahead of me across the street, those are gentlemen that are actually sleeping, and it's actually the scene over here. There are pockets of people who you would find scattered across the entire area, and all they are doing is either waiting gradually for the day to break so they can be part of the inauguration, or you would find them lying down because they've been stressed for
Unfortunate. Of course, the battery has been working for a very long time, long hours. But that is Favor Nunu there coming to us from the Independence Square, where people are queuing up. People are sleeping there, waiting for 10 a.m. so they can be a part of the inauguration. We're going to wrap up in the studio briefly, but let me come to you. Of course, this is our live coverage of the dissolution of Parliament and the inauguration of new Parliament. I've been here with Mr. Adawudu, who is a legal practitioner, and we're wrapping this up soon. I'm just going to take your thoughts, speak your thoughts on Professor Michael Quays, the Speaker's speech. It was quite long, but he touches on a lot of things. He talks about the majority in Parliament and how they should behave. He talks about the minority in Parliament and how they should be, the new entrants, how they should behave, and try and catch his eye and use the question time appropriately. He talks about the private members bill, in which he's saying basically that we should not necessarily wait for the executive to back initiatives, that these bills should be brought before Parliament so that they could discuss. He talks about the standing orders and all of that. But he is talking also about some measures that he wants to introduce and all of that. What do you make of his initial speech and his initial execution of his job?
I believe that the greater part of his speech, it stems out from his frustration and some challenges that he had as a parliamentarian and what happened. So he was able to catalog a lot of it. And even if you look at the private member bill, that should be initiated by
okay, sorry not to cut you, but that's a very important point. We'll come back to that. It seems we do have Favor back on the line. Hello, Favor.
Hello.
Good, Favor.
Well, Gifty, if you can hear me. Well, so as I said, there are lots of people who are here. You can actually tell these are elderly women who are actually dancing to tunes, hip life tunes, and it's all about excitement and getting ready for tomorrow. Those who are actually selling their paraphernalia and all that are making good sales, they tell me. These are young men from across the country, and they're here. This song that's been playing and the dance that's been happening here has been going on for over the past 3 hours now, I hear, and it's still been bashing, and they tell me they'll keep dancing till daybreak when they know that the Independence Square is open, and then they can make entry and be part of that historical inauguration where we'll see Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo sworn in as President of the Republic of Ghana following his victory in the 2016 elections. So this is how things are going on here. Let me speak to a few of them. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
I see you're very excited. What brings you here today? Is it the inauguration? Tell us.
I just came here because of our new president elected, because the young, the youth, we were suffering. There was no work in Ghana. There was no employment for us to employ. So we decided to bring change to Ghana, and now we are having a new president. So
you can't wait to be part of the inauguration that's going to happen?
Yeah. I came here around 10 o'clock.
10 p.m.?
Yeah, 10 o'clock p.m.
And you're waiting till daybreak?
Yeah.
Well, so that's a gentleman here who is waiting till daybreak. So tell us, what's your name?
Gafar Ibrahim.
Ibrahim, did you vote during the elections?
I voted.
Okay, now, why are you here today? What are your expectations ahead of the inauguration? Okay, well, I wish I could interpret that, but unfortunately I can't. Maybe Malik in the studio would be able to do that if he is. But as you can see, that's another gentleman who's actually boogieing. Let me try and then get there and speak to him. Chief, he's actually sipping on his calipo, if you can see. Very excited, overwhelmed by the victory, and you can tell that this really is a mood here at the Independence Square. All persons here are ready for tomorrow, and you can tell from the excitement that they express through the dance and all that. So, well, there's a situation here, and we're coming to you with live pictures. Time check is 2:20 a.m. 2:20 a.m. And this is how the Independence Square looks like. Ghanaians, young people from across the country have actually buried me in the cameras and are trying to say, well, we're ready for the inauguration, and this is how it's going on here. Well, they said you're ready for the inauguration. You're live on Joy TV. There's a live pictures coming to you from the Independence Square. Time check is 2:21, and these young guys won't go to bed until they realize that, well, the inauguration is happening. So, Gifty, this is how it's playing out here at the Independence Square. I guess you have a proper picture of what things looks like. I'll hand over to you now so you can carry on with discussions in the studio. Thank you.
We do have you, Favor, and thank you very much. Enjoy yourselves while you're there, but make your way right back here because we've got work to do. Okay, so you were making a point about his speech, Professor Michael Quay's speech, of course, his initial speech and the initial execution of his task, his first task as Speaker of Parliament.
Yes, so I think that he made it eloquent and loudly clear that he intends to bring in some kind of reforms, especially about the private members bill. That it's been a colonial relic piece of legislation because it was started from the colonial era that it should be the crown or the queen should be able to sponsor some of this stuff, which we have adopted and it's been, I think it's long overdue and it's a good thing if it is done so that we could check some of the laws that are brought. You know, it goes to reinforce that when some bills are brought and you're a member of the majority of the party to critique it, you can't say it on. Yeah, it's difficult
because of course you've got the party supporting it or the
party,
government
the executive supporting it.
Right.
And if you have some challenges and difficulties, it will be difficult to. It will be seen as dishonesty, or you're not being loyal to the party. So some of these things becomes a little bit challenging.
Difficult. I see.
And our parliament also, you need to take 2/3 of ministers from it. So everybody wants to catch the eye of the president, the executive. So nobody really wants to be. Line, right. You have to be whipped into the line. Those are some of the issues. He talks about the gender.
Yeah,
I believe
women representation.
It's
and that was a very interesting point where he goes on and on about, he basically mentions about 193 nations that were catalogued in terms of women representation. And he says Ghana is at 150. Then he goes on to mention all the names, and that got some interesting responses from the members of parliament. But that's an important issue.
Yes, it's an important issue. I believe that countries that we pride ourselves that we had gone ahead, our credentials are far, far, far ahead, or we are a step ahead of them, had even made some inroads into gender representation. And he felt that it's a shame for our nation, Ghana, that we do not have such. That I think that it has to start with the political parties. That if the political parties will be able to make some quota for women representation, so that it does not become very challenging that you are contesting with
the NPP tried that and it did not work. So it'll be interesting to find out if Parliament can do something, because what he says is that the only way out of this is affirmative action. It's only affirmative action that can help us, and the NPP tried and it didn't work. So I'm thinking on a national scale, on a national level, that this can be executed.
I know they were trying to get the affirmative act being put in place. I don't think that. Yes, I don't think it's in the light of the day. And I think yes, if it is law, it has to be complied with.
Okay.
Is it complied with by the political parties? How about independent candidates? There's a way we need to look at it. One of the things that if you have to attach it should be what are some of the maybe financing mechanism that will be attached to it. So the more women or you have within your party should bring in some kind of privileges and opportunities. If it is seen in that light, I believe that all the parties will have a look at it.
Okay. Well, this has been your election headquarters bringing you live coverage of the proceedings in Parliament. Today, Parliament was dissolved. The 6th Parliament was dissolved. The 7th Parliament has been ushered in. And today is also the day that President-elect Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo becomes president, substantive president of the Republic of Ghana. President Mahama very soon will be called ex-president. We'll be wrapping up. Like I said, we're actually wrapping up soon. We've seen Professor Michael Quay give us a speech. Elton, of course, has done a great job breaking down the processes and explaining to us all of that and what it means. Lawyer Kojoga Adaudo here has got a petition, has got a writ, and we will be following up on that. He's joined me in the studio to have that discussion. We'll be back at 6 a.m. and then we'll take the discussion on from there. Your wrap-up comment, and then we're out of here.
I believe that change has come, the change that the Ghanaians wanted. and the expectations that the expectation is that there has been a yardstick, some standard has been created, has been set. It is only that they will have to be able to build upon it. I don't think Ghanaians will want to see the standard being lowered. Or watered down. Okay. So we pray that the government have wisdom, has the fortitude, will come with all the integrity, and always protect, because every government that comes has scandals. There's no government that has ever come with that scandal. They should be able to check some of those things that may bring the party into disrepute. And because Ghanaians are looking up to them for a change. And we hope that we will see the kind of change they have promised us.
Hopefully we'll see the kind of change that they've promised us. This is your election headquarters. My name is Gifty Andopia, ably produced by Jahunyan. And of course, in the back room, we've got Gomez, I've got Atoko Amina here. We call him Tosh, our camera person here. Of course, a lot of camera persons here. And I've also got Echo here helping us. Mr. Jamina as well, helping us. Thank you so much for your time. This is your election headquarters. Stay with us because we're bringing you live and up-to-date information on how the inauguration goes. My name is Gifty Andopia.